Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Coverage with me here, Adi and Rishi. Guys, the agenda for the day is CSK as it has been for quite some time now. I think we've discussed CSK more than any other team in the past few weeks. It has been a hot topic because of everything that's been happening with the team. They haven't done very well at home. They won one in five games. They won one in three home games, which is an anomaly, winning just 33% of their games at home. We just haven't seen that from CSK in the past few seasons. And it is a little odd, but here we are. And there's been a lot of chatter about MS Dhoni and what he has been able to contribute to the franchise. A lot of talk about the batting of the Super Kings just not firing. Ruturaj Gaikwad has been very underwhelming this season. And things have just gotten worse for them. It's not looking great at all. It's another loss for them that they suffered yesterday against Punjab. 219 is what the Punjab Kings made, and 201 is all that CSK made. And CSK, to be fair, were never favorite. They were never ahead of the game at any point in this game. Even I think the closest they came was when Dubey was batting, but apart from that, I don't think there was ever a point where they were ahead of the game. Um, and that begs the question: is this the beginning of the downfall of CSK? Because we know for that the core of the team will be this for the next 3 years. And Rishi,
I
bro,
think
is
what
it good enough?
Ral was trying to say was that CSK were never really in the fray. They were pretty much never the favorites, I'd say. Adi, do you think at the start of the season that they were the favorites or they had a good chance this season?
No, for me it was. I think over the past 2 seasons, at least even last season, in the beginning, yeah, sure, but the way they played over the season and coming into the season, I think, yeah, for me also, I don't think they would have been favorites to go to the playoffs or go to the whatever, like have a great season. But I expected them home. That's one thing I really expected. I told you even in the podcast, I think they might struggle out of playing in their home stadium, but in their home, I think they should be dominating. Just for the fact that I think they have quality spinners. I mean, maybe they're not performing, but having Jadeja, Ashwin, and Noor Ahmed, I don't think any other team has that luxury to have three spinners.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a little weird because Chennai, I think, yeah, like Adi, even I didn't put them in my top four because I just didn't see them. It wasn't going to happen with this batting. And there were always question marks, I think, over this batting for me. And it's proven to be the case. Rishi, bro, with this batting that they have to almost carry for the next 3 years, we know that the core of the team will remain the same. Is it going to be three disappointing years for Chennai?
I mean, as of now, it looks like that, bro. But to be honest, I didn't think they would be as bad as they are right now because, of course, like we knew that they didn't have the big, they didn't have the guns. Like maybe their X factor was going to be Shivam Dubey, who was coming in and who was supposed to come in and score quick fire runs and muscle their way through. But you take him out, others are all either completely out of favor, they're not playing regular cricket, or they are not necessarily the quick run getters. Like Rachin Ravindra is a classy player. And Devon Conway started off well yesterday, but then quickly again struggled as the game got through. You have the likes of Vijay Shankar, Deepak Hooda, Rahul Tripathi. I feel these three are cut from the same cloth. With all due respect, I feel these three players are of the same material. They don't offer anything much different, at least in today's game. And who's next? There's Shivam Dubey and then there's MS Dhoni.
Yeah.
So at least when it comes to home games, I at least thought, okay, like the spinners, especially the spinners, would restrict teams to a reasonable total of 170, 180. Like in today's game, 180 should be a reasonable total in any track for to be chased. I never thought, okay, they would get hit for consistent 200, 250, I mean 200, 210s because 200 is out of the equation right now. But at least when it came to home, I thought they would be able to see through games. The spin would be able to take care, but that's clearly not been the case. So I knew they were going to be, like they were going to struggle a bit when it came to the away games. But the way they're finding it difficult at home is quite shocking. And yes, like you mentioned, the fact that the next 3 years the core is going to be the same. Maybe one by one they're going to make small additions, and by the looks of it, they have to make additions. So hopefully they I mean, not hopefully. I mean, for their sake, they have to make strategic buys. They can't go wrong. They're maximum going to get one or two good batters have to click. So yeah, a lot of pressure on them.
Bro, there's a lot. It's a very shocking stat. I did not know this stat until recently, which is the fact that CSK haven't chased 180 plus target in the IPL since 2018. That's insane.
Yes,
That's crazy when you think about it, right? Like, of course, they played a lot of those games at home and in Chennai, and it was the magic of Jadeja that kept them going for so long, right? Kept it was Jadeja and Tikshana over the past couple of seasons. Now it's Noor Ahmed and Ashwin, but it just isn't the same, bro. It hasn't been the same. And like Adi, bro, is there a worry also with their bowling? Because at the end of the day, they are conceding runs. They're conceding runs in Chennai. RCB scored more than 200. I can't seem to remember how much Delhi put together, but in Chennai,
180.
180.
Delhi put yes 180.
So is there a concern over the fact that even the bowlers, it's not like it's happening other than Jadeja, who actually I think has been pretty good, that even the bowling is not delivering?
See, I think the bowling overall is still good. I think overall, you look at the first game, I think it was restricted to what 150 against Mumbai. And then RCB, I think
But you
again the
have to say,
RCB game.
even in that first game against Mumbai, they didn't have Hardik Pandya and they didn't have
Jasprit
The
Bumrah.
Bumrah. So
Bumrah is not batting,
no,
right?
no Bumrah, but I'm
Yeah.
saying Hardik Pandya because like okay, he has been the standout batter I think in the season for them
No, even
also.
with Hardik Pandya, I don't know. You can't just you
No,
can
I'm
get
not
both
saying that it
things
much would
from
have
him.
changed, but like okay, just saying that it was the
Yeah,
case.
I get that. But overall, I think they have a solid batting lineup, bro. Like a bowling lineup. I mean, both their bowlers are what top two in purple cap. You know, in terms of what your wicket takers. I think having two bowlers already with 10 wickets in 5 games is it's actually pretty rare and incredible because it shows that like the bowling lineup is pretty strong. You know, if you're able to get wickets in the beginning with Khalil and then put pressure in the middle overs with Noor Ahmed, I think you're gaining a lot of wickets. It's only the fact that they've not been able to chase. Because you look at the totals also, I think it's pretty normal. I think yesterday also playing in that stadium, it was a freak innings by Priyansh. Like if you take him out, I don't think Punjab really scored much runs. Like you look at the middle order, top order and middle order, like everyone was single digits, right? Until Jansen came on and Shashank Singh, like everyone were ordinary. So like if you really look at the context of each innings, I think they're still there. Even with the RCB game, I think only big changing factor that game was that last over of what do you call it, Tim David coming and
So I
smashing
still
it.
don't think they would have won bro that game.
No, but the bowling itself, like I can't question because they were. If RCB, I remember they were like we were cruising 10 runs over. Sorry, and then we suddenly slowed down after the power play got over, and they were able to neutralize us to a
No,
to a
of
great
course
extent.
the bowling is better, but I'm saying like that even the of course the major concern is still the batting. Like the bowling is better than the batting, but
I
like the
think they have the
batting will
best bowling
never.
lineup. If I have to like put it out there, like in terms of the spinners, again, I don't think anyone gets the luxury of having those three spinners.
No, no, fair
And
enough.
they have
Yeah.
two great pace bowlers. That's five top bowlers there itself. So like that's my point. Like I think my point is that maybe they've underperformed, but if all of them start performing at the right time, they will have a strong bowling unit. And I already told that before. Like I think the plan was to ball first, especially in Chepauk, just ball first, get low totals like 150, 160, and just chase it down. The two games they played apart from MI, it didn't really work out for them. But if you look back at it, even scoring 180s and chasing 180s right now should be easier for teams to do. That's the point. Because even going to Chepauk, I think it's not tough to score 180s if you can. Like the whole point is your batsmen should be ready to score that, and that's where it
Mm.
looks like okay, yeah, they're not doing well because I don't think the bowling has been that bad where they're not like conceding runs after runs. They've played 5 games and now, if I'm not wrong, in
Mm.
that 5 games, 3 games at home, everything has been below 100, like 180s, basically. I mean 200, sorry. And bro, it's tough to say that it's tough to ask your bowlers to keep it below 200 consistently in this IPL. And if they've been able to do it, I think it's just the batting order that needs to be able to score runs. And if they're not able to do, I think it's more about that. I don't think any team has the luxury of having three spinners, two players having top two in purple cap, etc. So I don't think there is a big issue with their bowling lineup. Again, yesterday, if you want to look at yesterday's game, I think it was a tough pitch to bowl on. Like you could see, it was very flat. Like
No, it
even
that's fair
Pan,
enough. But yeah, of course, you're right. In the sense, yeah, like agreed. I think major concern batting. But yeah, if there's one change, bro, like you would make at the start of next season. Imagine like you're sitting at the auction table for Chennai. First big change you would make, what would it be?
me personally, I think getting a player like Cam Green would be a big thing for them. I think you have to bank on good foreign players, which they haven't done this season. In terms of proven names, apart from Noor Ahmad, I don't think the rest are proven T20 players. Like even the likes of Rachin Ravindra, even though I rate him a lot, like he just hasn't been able to get his feet in the T20 format. I know he doesn't really play T20, he's not gotten opportunities. So it's like difficult for him to come and adapt to T20s because with New Zealand he's majorly playing test matches, ODIs. And then suddenly coming him and asking him to, score a lot of runs at a very quick rate is difficult, right? So that's one thing. So it's up to like Chennai if they're like okay to give him time and or okay to give him that leisure of okay, just start smacking from first ball. It's okay if you get out early. Like it's
Mm.
about that. If they really don't want to do that, I guess an opener is also needed because Conway, Rachin Ravindra, long term, I don't know how it'll work out. And if you're not able to do that, you'll have to go and try to buy some opening batsmen. I think guys like what do you call that? I'm sorry, who's the like Duckett? Like I think he's a good opportunity, for someone like CSK because with CSK they don't have the pressure to be like, okay, we need to build a perfect team. You've seen them going buying very, left-handed players and then come and they've always been great. Like for them, like it's not like they've always had the best bat foreigners in all formats. I mean, in all the sections of the team. So I guess like things like that, bro. You need an opening batsman. Just go, release guys like Tripathi if you're brave enough. Go get a guy like Ben Duckett. Just keep him in the team. Get a player like Cam Green. Just you don't need guys like Sam Curran. You can
Mm.
upgrade the position. Means you have to try at least. An auction, we never know if you're able to get him or not, but you have to do that, and you get an extra bowling option with Cam Green. At least you have one extra pacer there, because I told the pace attack apart from the two bowlers will be very weak, and you can see that right now in IPL, like you need variations with pace bowlers, and that's what's been working out for a lot of teams. And yeah, I think I don't know, bro. I don't think they have the depth in the pace bowling to say, okay, if one guy is getting smacked, I can go to another guy and just change the game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think yeah, both of them will be in the auction, like most likely, right, next season. Uh Duckett and Green, and they're actually great options for them, especially Green, who will probably play through the middle for them, and they need one of those middle order batters because there's nothing going through the middle other than Shivam Dubey. Even at the top, it would be really nice to see Ruturaj Gaikwad open the batting again. I don't know if they're going to leave both Ravindra and Devon Conway and maybe then play somebody like a Duckett, but I have a feeling that they'll stick to Ravindra for a while. But Rishi, if you had an opportunity to play one, like make one change in the CSK team right now, what would it be?
Bro, I think, yeah, like you mentioned their Achilles heel, that is the middle order. The runs are not coming. Like on a couple of occasions, you've seen either Ruturaj Gaikwad or Ravindra give a good start, but then that quickly fades through. So you need somebody going through the middle. And Adi also mentioned that they don't have good foreign options, of course. Pathirana and Noor Ahmed are pure bowlers. And when it comes to somebody who can offer a little bit with the ball and bat, that's someone like of the profile of whom Chennai have traditionally gone on, right? I felt they missed a trick or missed a beat when they let go of Moeen Ali. I thought Moeen Ali would have been really good for them
True, actually.
because he's very disciplined with the bat. And of course, that one odd game that he played for KKR, he looked a little bit slow. But then in Chennai, when you're playing there, it doesn't really matter if you're just going at 120, 130.
Bro,
So
yeah. And
yeah,
I just
you
wanted
were
to
saying?
add, like, quickly like on to what you're saying, just one player who actually has not played this season and most likely could be available next year, Glenn Phillips, who
Glenn
hasn't
Phillips, I was
played.
going to say,
Yeah.
yes, he hasn't played much. Quick with the ball, he can doesn't flight it as much, and then gun with the bat as well. And it's just unfortunate that the teams he has been, the foreigners are just stacked. Last
Yeah.
year SRH, this year Gujarat, and Gujarat he was
Yeah.
you would have bet on him starting the season, but then David Miller is always there, and then this time Shafin Rutherford's just taken
Joseph
off.
Rutherford. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe this game he's had a pretty average game this time, but then so far he's been very good. So yeah, like one of the players, like either somebody of this profile who can offer a little bit with the ball and a majority with the bat. I think that's somebody they're going to go for.
Yeah. It's interesting because they probably need one of the somebody like that. And okay, I'm
Bro,
throwing it out there. If
or a pure batter also. Like offer nothing with the ball, that's still fine, or a pure batter who can consistently give you runs.
Yeah, I was just getting to that because you say, let us say, for argument's sake, MS Dhoni walks away after the season. Okay.
You and your MS Dhoni agenda, I'm
I
telling
know
you.
it's not. I'm no, no. I'm just saying for conversation's sake. If MS
Hmm?
Dhoni walks out at the end of the season, then where do they go? Who do they look at and say, okay, for the next 2 years, we need a new wicket keeper and we need a batter, obviously, right? Like you're hoping somebody will come a little ahead, if ahead of like play somewhere between that 4 and 5 role where they need one player. Do you see
I
any
mean,
keepers?
they had them and keeper. They have Devon Conway, no? Do they really need another
Will
wicket
they play
keeper
Devon
bat?
Conway? But will they play? Would they not want to open with Ruturaj Gaikwad after the disaster he's having at number three?
Hmm, that's true.
And if you're going to get somebody like a Ben Duckett or like Adi said, a Cam Green, I'm sure they will go after an all rounder. I think it's all but certain that they will go after one foreign all rounder. And Cam Green, with him being that option, it's very likely they'll go for him. Apart from that, if MS Dhoni is to walk away, which is possible, he's 44, whatever. There's a chance that he does. Then are they in a place where they can actually go and get a decent wicket keeper?
I
I mean, if they
mean,
get
how much
Ben Duckett, you
budget
don't
do
need.
they have?
Hmm?
No, if they get Ben Duckett, you don't really need to go get a keeper. Like you already have a batsman and a keeper there, so you don't have to go out and buy another keeper there. You can just go and buy someone in the middle order or in the death. Because again, what's the point of going and buying a keeper out there where I don't think you have much players there right now as a keeper? Maybe you can go get some. Bro, the thing is, for me, the biggest concern or like biggest thing where I can be critical about CSK is the way they've looked at the youth in this auctions, because they didn't really go out for anything crazy in terms of youth, like in terms of unknown players, trying to scout some good batsmen out there. There are talent out there where you can, get, like look at like Punjab this season, for example. Last year you had new finds like Sai Sudarshan. Again, he's a Tamil Nadu guy. You have guys like Abhishek Porel who's come and been handy. There are a lot of players out there where you could scout and go after, and I'm sure they have the data, etc. But CSK has always been like oriented with the experienced players. But I think this season it shows that the experienced players that has been there, that cycle of the past 10 years, they're almost on their expiry date. Like you look at any player who's been there for a long time in this modern era of T20 where the youngsters are coming and want to prove a point. I feel like all these youngsters want to prove a point, become a mainstay in IPL. They want to play their game, which is very bold, very aggressive cricket. Like literally what Priyansh Arya did yesterday. It's something you don't see often, and it's similar with every young player that's coming out, right? So they should have gone and tried to get someone young instead of going for the likes of Tripathi, going for the likes of Vijay Shankar, which, bro, it's not there's something new. We've seen these guys since 2018, 2019. It's not like you're suddenly going to get something new out of them where you can just change them and fix them. I know they've done it before with certain players, but even with those certain players, they were all young and good players. Like Shivam Dubey was a young player when he got dropped by RCB. He was not like established enough to be like, okay, this guy's done or at the end of his career. Like this year, they could have literally gone at least with the batting lineup as a number three, number four. There are so many young explosive options that was out there. Like you could have literally bought anyone there, but I don't know why they chose to, stick with their old heads, the guys who are really outdated in T20 cricket, in my opinion. Even though they're great batsmen, I'm not going to say that. But in this era of T20, where generally you have to, if your team is bowling first, you might have to chase 180 plus half the times. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
you know your team hasn't like bro, that's the point. Even till now, I didn't know this season. I didn't know they haven't chased a total of
yeah. Even I
whatever
didn't.
180 plus. But that's my point. Like, if you know as a team you've not able to haven't been able to chase 180 plus for like 8 years, what 6 years now? Sorry, you have to pivot to something else. The only option is young players. I'm surprised why they didn't even try any young player out there, because there are a lot of young players, young good batsmen for cheap. Like, it's not even like you're going out for big prices. You're going out for like 10 crores, 12 crores, where you're losing out. So they could have really gone for young explosive batsmen, which they really didn't do. And I think that's where it's eating them right now. Because I
Yeah,
don't think, yeah,
yeah. No, no. I agree with you in a sense, like in a sense, because no, I agree with also the CSK philosophy in a sense where they've gone for these older players. But if you look at all the older players they went for in the past, they've all been quality, like
quality
IPL.
exactly.
They've been quality IPL players. Okay, you go to Ambati Raidu has done he did well for Mumbai before. If you look at even Ajinkya Rahane, people may think like, oh no, Rahane didn't do like, bro, he did very well for Rajasthan, opening the batting for a few years. And okay, then he had a slump, but he did well. Like Robin Uthappa was always a gun IPL player for KKR, and then like obviously in the
RCB
beginning for
before.
RCB, and then he was always quality. Like, but this year, like some of the guys they've gone for like a Vijay Shankar. Vijay Shankar has never lit the stage for any team. Rahul Tripathi, I understand, yeah, has been a decent IPL player, but again has not lit the stage like an Ambati Raidu or a Robin Uthappa who they went for in the past. Even the Shane Watsons and all these guys, like bro, they're iconic IPL names. Like I understand that you can get something from them, but when you're going for like these players, like the Vijay Shankars, the Deepak Hoodas, the Rahul Tripathis, it's a little underwhelming because they have never been the best IPL players. And I think that's where they missed a trick, and that's where they could have gone for somebody like younger. And yeah, dude, like I think they've just missed their opportunity big time this year, and they're going to be stuck for the next couple of seasons with this, unless they make a change and like they try something different. I don't know what they're planning to do for the next couple of seasons. It completely depends on, of course, the senior players, and even like I think one thing that hasn't helped them is Ravi Ashwin has not really lived up to expectations for them. Rohit Sharma has still been fine, but I think Ashwin not being the same Ashwin that we know he can be. I feel like there's an argument against Ashwin that he's been the brightest IPL player in the last 6 7 years. Like, do you guys ever feel like Ashwin had a standout in the last 5 6 years?
He has always been decent. Like even for Rajasthan, he is somebody who's tried to modify his game to stay relevant, and to a large extent he has. But then, yeah, I kind of agree with the sense that he's not somebody who has been so outstanding that okay, like this guy is aging, but you can still get him on. Like I remember when they got Harbhajan Singh. Harbhajan Singh was still effective with the Dusras, with the game that was back in the day when they got Harbhajan Singh. He was still relevant. He was still effective. And I just don't think that was the case with somebody like Ashwin. Like so, yeah, I think they could have used that money elsewhere and addressed bigger problems, but they just wanted. I don't know what their thinking was. Okay, they wanted another spinner, but there were spinners who they could have gone after. Again, it's okay, not a terrible job. It's not a terrible signing, but could they have used that funds elsewhere in a better way? I think so.
No, I love Ashwin as a cricketer. Like I think he's one of the best. I think he is the best test spinner India has produced. Like
Yeah,
actually,
like
genuinely.
again, yeah. This is just from an IPL, a Rajasthan
Yeah,
perspective over the
exactly.
last 3 4 years.
Yeah, and look at Ashwin's numbers since 2021. The highest wicket tally Ashwin has hit the double digit mark twice since 2021.
Hmm.
In 2022, he picked up 12 wickets. In 2023, he picked up 14. But the other years, 7, 9, and 5. So, I mean, this year is 5, obviously. But, like, we'll see what happens. But 7 and 9 are the other 2 years. He's not had incredible years. I would say, bro, I think for Ashwin to have a good IPL season, at least not even good. Like Ashwin has to be a double-digit wicket-taking bowler. Like
Hmm.
because of the quality that he has. For him to be producing 7 wickets, 9 wickets, and all, I'm for his quality. Like I think it's a little like yeah, maybe Ashwin is not the T20 player that you probably need at this point, but it is what it is. Adi, you see CSK anyways fighting back from like this season at least.
See, yeah, bro. I feel like, see, in terms of, I don't really look at team quality in terms of just on paper. You have to look at, I said last year also, I think just combinations because last year, look at RCB team. I don't think you would have said with the way they started, they would have come to the playoffs. And in the second of the half of the season, they were the best team out there. And we had our own flaws. We didn't really have a spinner last year, if you really go back to it. We really didn't have, a prime pacer. Like, come on, bro. We had Siraj and Yash Dayal. Again, honestly, they were our only two pacers last year, to even play. And apart from that, we didn't really have any backup in terms of bowling. It was a very broken team, but it was just the spirit that we carried and went through. I mean, obviously we had quality of Virat, Faf out there in the top order, which helped a lot. Even Cam Green was a very clutch player last year, etc. But apart from that, it's just a matter of how your team gels together over time. Fights through whatever rough patches, etc., and goes through in terms of you can do it, bro. Like we've seen a lot of times where like not the best or the most flamboyant or the most power hitting T20 teams in IPL have gone to at least playoffs or done well in the IPL, right? So I think, bro, even as a team, I don't think they have a big issue in terms of players. Like you look at the top order again, you have good like your top four is still very solid. If guys like Rachin, Conway, Ruturaj and Dubey like click, if they really click together, they have a pretty. I think they have a very solid batting top four. Like if it's just out of name and what they've done throughout their IPL career. Like Conway was like one of the best batsmen just 2 years ago in IPL, like 2023 when they won the season, right? I think he won the Orange Cup if I'm not wrong. I can't remember, but yeah, my point is like, I think it was Gill that year, sorry. But yeah, my point is they have great players out there. And the bowling lineup, again, I think the thing with Ashwin is, I agree to the fact that, yeah, he's not been good in white ball cricket for a long time. But you look at Ashwin back then when he was playing in Chepauk, when he was playing in CSK, he was still a great spinner. And that's what I thought. I thought this year I think they missed a beat with not really making Chepauk a slow track, a very sticky, spinny track. You look at the last two games; it's not been that kind of track where it's actually very tough to bat on. I think that's one thing they missed at because you look at the three games they played in Chepauk, they've always balled first, all three games. And the last two games, if they had a bit of a different track with the old Chepauk, where it used to be very slow, like scoring 130, 140s was a big thing at a point of time in Chepauk. So I think they should have had a pitch like that. And I thought, okay, yeah, like Ashwin would be very good in these kind of pitches. I don't expect him to, like again, he's going to be very solid, with the 4 overs, getting 7 to 8 economy, getting 1, 2 wickets, which he can. I thought that's what he would do. But unfortunately, he's not been able to do that. I think it's a lot goes down to the pitches. Even Noor Ahmed, like the only reason he's getting so much wickets is I think is because of the game set, how he flies the ball compared to others. And you look at most of like most of his wickets, it's always catches and everyone's swinging the bat, right? So yeah, I think, bro, overall CSK should just change the game plan. I think 5 games down the line now, they don't have any pressure to be like it can't get worse. So just start looking at cricket in a different approach. Just back your best players, put them in front. Like there's no point of getting Ashwin in numbers 5, number 6. Just put your best players in the top positions. Let them just bat it out. Let them play the game and try to push them to just play more aggressive cricket. Like I think that's what makes sense.
Mm.
Even yesterday, I didn't understand why, for example, Pathirana didn't come earlier to ball. Like he bowled his first over in the 12th over, where like you know, that time Priyansharya was smacking the spinners, and you could have gotten someone like Pathirana because he can ball Yorkers. You can just slow it down, and Gaikwad didn't do that. So like questions on captaincies, yeah, sure, but I think just change your approach. I think if you can do that, there's still a pretty solid team.
Yeah, I just wanted like quickly before we wrap it up, I go to Rishi for the last one. I think the wickets have been slow, and slow in the sense they have been a little tricky. While teams have scored, I think RCB batted really well to score the 200. Um, but I think, like Adi said, I think maybe a little more from the wicket would have helped Ashwin. I just don't think he's the same bowler, but you can see like guys like Jadeja still
No, but
again.
do you think that I don't think there's spin in that track? That's what I'm trying to
Not
say.
as
There is
much
no
as it used,
spin.
not as much, but I still feel like
Exactly, that's my
the
point.
grip is there. I mean, there's still grip in the wicket.
Yeah,
Bro,
there's
but
just
like
grip.
Ashwin is, I feel like Ashwin's more of a spinny bowler. Like he needs a bit of turn in the track to get the, especially in white
Yeah,
ball. Like I think
yeah,
he doesn't have that variation. He has a variation of pace, but I think for him it's more of he needs a bit of turn to produce what he did. Like go back to like 10 years ago in IPL, like the reason he could get Gale out so many times is because of the turn, because the way he could like turn the ball. And I think that's what's needed for a guy like Ashwin.
yeah. I guess, and I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if I'm right in this assessment, but like 10 years ago, maybe the wickets were a little slower. It's possible, but I always felt like Ashwin. I don't know, but I don't know why, but I'm feeling this. It's just a feeling that I'm having that his action was a lot more front on. Now it's a little more side on.
A little bit more side
So,
on, yeah.
and he used to get more bounce. And I
Mm.
remember Ashwin was one of those bowlers who get a lot of caught behinds, those sliders that
Bro, Ashwin
sometimes
is deceptively tall also, mind you.
exactly,
He's a very
exactly,
lanky guy.
bro. Which is why I feel like when he used to be a lot more front on, there was a little more bounce for him, and I feel like that maybe has changed for him.
And if you remember, like we used to bowl so much with the old ball, especially toss it to Ashwin because of his height and his front on action in tests. He used to generate that on the ball, the old ball, the soft ball still used to generate that bounce off the pitch.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And even with the new ball, I thought he was very effective because of like the way again like the action and the more front on approach. It has I think changed over the years, but it
mm.
is what it is with Ashwin, I guess. Rishi, any way CSK comeback, bro, this season?
um, I don't really know. I thought yesterday would have been a nice onset of a comeback because Devon Conway looked like a solution for a while, and then until he wasn't, he wasn't too bad. I just felt like they needed a little bit more acceleration from the remaining batters. So even if they want to start off with Conway, like again, I don't see how like this season it's just been poor form. It's not entirely been just the one down or opening position for Gaikwad. Like his shot selection, the kind of strokes that he's playing is not down to him coming one down instead of opening. So I don't personally feel that okay, if Rituraj Gaikwad from the next game he comes opening, their batting or his batting is going to be fixed. So if they want to stick with Conway, I really think they should go ahead because this batting lineup clearly isn't working. So just go with that avenue, go down that avenue for a while now. Like if they're not performing, I mean it's not like I think CSK have is the team that has used most of the players in their roster compared to any other league. So you might as well try this
Yeah.
combination out as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only thing that's left for them to do is try and figure out a sustainable combination because whatever is happening, whatever they're doing right now is clearly not working.
I think there was a stat that said that CSK was the only team to have used all their foreign players
Oh
um,
yeah, that
from the
also.
squad.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fascinating what is happening with them. It's going to be interesting to see how CSK approach the rest of the season as well. Please let us know your thoughts, guys, and let us know if you think they can do anything different. Whether you see CSK coming back for the rest of the campaign, it's going to be fascinating watch and to see how they approach things if they don't do well this year in the coming seasons as well. So yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the videos. Subscribe to Discovery. We've got a football thing coming up on Friday because the ISL final is approaching BFC and Mohun Bagan. Gonna be a crack at that at the Salt Lake. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that one. And we'll see you then. Bye bye.